Hello YouTube, this is Frugal, and this is the Frooglesim News Special for today, Sunday, June the 4th. Over the past couple of weeks, the landscape of flight simulation has changed dramatically. XPlane 11 obviously released, this week Prepared version 4 released, and recently as well, Dovetail's Flight Sim World entered early access. All this has led to some massive changes in the landscape. In fact, following that analogy, a very key developer who's a friend of mine said recently that the release of Prepared version 4 in particular signals the greatest tectonic shift in simulation ever. This week, you'll get some news of what's been happening recently, but I really want to focus on a roundup of just what has happened and where that leaves us all right now. So first up, Dovetail's Flight Sim World. Now, I took a look at Flight Sim World in a first impressions video this week. It's still early access, of course, but ultimately this is a platform that was built on FSX and upgraded to support new technologies like 64-bit, DirectX 11, better distribution of load across the CPU and GPU, and so on. Being built on FSX, many hoped that Dovetail would involve third parties prior to its early access release, and that sim would leave the hangar with a slew of third-party products already supporting it. Unfortunately, that did not happen. A2A's AccuFeel is baked into the sim, which is a great start, as is Orbex's FTX Global, the de facto standard for what the planet should look like in a Microsoft-based sim. But the wider community favorites like PNDG, Aerosoft, the full suite of A2A aircraft, FS Labs, Fly Tampa, Taxi the Gate, FS Dream Team, Milviz, Just Flight, and countless others were all noticeably absent. The messaging from most third parties on social media and their own websites since the new sim arrived in Steam have been unilaterally the same. Lots of potential. We can't wait to see the SDK if Dovetail release it to see what we can do with the platform. Until that happens though, Flight Sim World's early access unfortunately remains little more than a novelty, an early view of what a future sim based on FSX may look like, but with a feature set that right now at least fails to compete with entry-level sims like Aerofly, and which falls very short of high-end, hardcore platforms like XPlane and Prepared. So, XPlane 11. XPlane 11's release was initially quite subtle. It featured a new user interface, new visual and audio effects, improved performance, and these were all to be expected somewhat, but the somewhat downplayed tagline of the sim, made usable, in recent weeks has seen more users flock to the platform. Last week on Steam, for example, XPlane 11, although released sometime earlier than Flight Sim World, was still trouncing Flight Sim World in the sales charts. Previous add-on releases that at launch were lacking in some areas in XPlane also got updated with the new sim. The Rotate Sim MD80 received its 1.3 update, addressing pretty much every concern I had with that aircraft at launch, and giving us now what I believe is a true study-level simulation of a complex jet airliner, joining the likes of IXEG and Flight Factor, and really bolstering the platform's offerings for the jet and systems simulation fans. Airfoil Labs 172, the XPlane equivalent of the A2A 172 trainer, also got updated, and once again that update addresses every single concern I had with that aircraft at launch and delivers a mature study level GA aircraft into the XPlane mix. Ortho for XP also gained a lot of ground in the past month. It's a free tool that lets you download orthographic imagery for anywhere in the world and add it to XPlane. Ortho for XP has been around for quite some time though, along with the AeroPilot X meshes and World 2 XP, but the release of XPlane 11 and the influx of new users saw a lot more people trying out the package, myself included. The results are simply astounding, with out-of-the-window visuals that appear to all intents and purposes completely real. The developer community, in particular the FSX and Prepared community, has also been paying attention. Milviz in the last week dropped a note in their Facebook replies that they are working on XPlane 11 aircraft, starting with the ATR. This will be the first Milviz aircraft to appear on the platform and hopefully give us a study-level regional airliner on XPlane 11. UK 2000, makers of highly detailed FSX and Prepared airports across the UK, announced this week that they are working on XPlane scenery as well, starting with a rebuild of their Birmingham Extreme product for Laminar's new benchmark sim. Perhaps sensing a shift in the market and a growing audience, established XPlane developers have also responded with announcements of new and highly complex aircraft of their own. Flight Factor were the first, announcing a completely study-level in-depth simulation of the Airbus A320 in the works, designed from the ground up to be complex enough to allow pilots learning to fly the actual aircraft to use their new add-on as a study aid. And then Rotatesim this week also announced their new release will be a study-level MD-11, diving in on an airframe that was incredibly popular among FSX users when it was released by PMDG, but which now is no longer available for sale, leaving a unique gap in the marketplace that simmers have been clamoring to see filled. Both these aircraft are major shifts for XPlane, since both feature extremely high levels of automation in the flight deck that only a few years ago critics had said XPlane was simply not capable of emulating. Additions to XPlane 11's core, such as new GPS and navigation systems, have opened up a lot of possibilities for building simulations featuring complex FMS functionality. And then of course there's Prepared version 4. Lockheed Martin's Prepared version 4 released this week with little to no fanfare at all prior to the event. This is Lockheed's latest iteration to their Microsoft ESP based simulator, and like Flight Sim World brings with it a shift to a 64-bit architecture, improved visuals, improved performance, improved stability, and a whole ton more. The biggest shock of the announcement to me though was that Lockheed, a company more well known for producing state-of-the-art military equipment and weapons, has been actively working with third-party sim producers across the entire FSX and Prepared landscape to ensure that the new sim launched with full support from most of them. Now 64-bit in a sim is a good thing, but for FSX and Prepared users it actually carries special significance. As the 32-bit platforms matured, simmers wanted to add more and more into the core platform to elevate the experience. Complex study-level airliners, for example, require a lot of processing power and memory to do what they do. Complex photorealistic scenery and completely accurate models of popular airports increased the memory requirements more, to the point that the dreaded out-of-memory error in the 32-bit platforms became an obsessive worry for simmers looking for every ounce of realism. The shift to 64-bit then on both FSX and Prepared could make that problem a thing of distant memory quite rapidly, but it only makes sense if the sim supports the same add-ons that we've all grown so attached to using over the years. Where Flight Sim World falls very short here, Prepared version 4 absolutely does not. Within a week of release, Orbex's FTX Central received an update allowing customers to install FTX Global, Open Land Class Europe, Open Land Class North America, Trees HD, FTX England, Germany North, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Norway, Scotland, Wales, the Central Rockies, Northern California, Northern Rockies, Pacific Fjords, the Pacific Northwest, Southern Alaska, Southern California, Australia, and New Zealand's North and South Islands into the new sim. FS Dream Team followed suit, updating everything as well, allowing Prepared version 4 users to not only make use of GSX, but also all their airports, including Charlotte, Memphis, Geneva, JFK, Zurich, Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, Honolulu, Fort Lauderdale, Chicago, and Las Vegas, all for free if you already own the products. Pretty much on day one, the team also had their demos downloadable for the new platform as well. Flive Tampa have said that they're updating their entire product line, showcasing some beautiful screenshots of their upcoming Boston Logan airport in the new sim, and calling out their love for some of the platform's new features, including less stutters, improved loading times, new rain and snow effects, and new dynamic lighting. UK 2000 have said that they are working on updating their Prepared products for the new sim as well. A2A released the ubiquitous 172 trainer for Prepared version 4 the same day the sim launched, with releases coming over the next couple of weeks including the 182, the Comanche, the Cherokee, the Texan, and the Connie, with more to follow soon after that. PMDG just yesterday released the 747 Queen of the Skies 2 for Prepared version 4 and have said that within the next week they will be looking at the 777 and then the 737 NGX. Now this is a company that routinely pushes the host sim to the very limits of what's achievable, and for them and other study level systems simulators, the 64-bit move is going to be a huge win. FS Labs and TFDI are both busy working on updates to their flagship products, the A320 and the 717, and hope to have updates released within the next month. Similarly, Majestic have started work on the process to shift the Q400 with its rather unique external flight model into the new platform as well. Milviz have also stated that they are working on updating all of their recent releases but haven't given a specific time frame just yet. Many of the producers of upcoming add-ons have also said that the new aircraft will work with Prepared version 4 immediately on release, including the PMDG DC-6 and of course the Quality Wings 787. Hi-Fi Simulations also this week released a beta of Active Sky 2016 and ASCA for prepared version 4 users, bringing the leading weather engine into the new platform. Perhaps most significantly of all though, some of the smaller add-on makers with less complex aircraft. If the aircraft doesn't include specific 32-bit DLLs to work, then those aircraft typically just work straight out of the box. Users of Real Air Simulations products, for example, who sadly stopped making new aircraft at the end of last year, have found that the classic Duke and Legacy products actually just work in prepared version 4, albeit with some missing sounds until the sound engine they used gets updated. Similarly, the Aerosoft Twin Otter just works, as does the Aerosoft PBY Catalina, the FlySimWare Mu 2, the Lear 35, and the Discus K Glider X. So in conclusion, a few years ago, many of us started pondering exactly where civil and general aviation sim platforms were heading. With Dovetail releasing FSX SE, Lockheed releasing Prepared, XPlane gaining ground, and Dovetail then talking about a new sim platform, our hobby received some serious fragmentation, and it was increasingly hard to know which sim to pin your flag to, which sim to invest in with your hard-earned money for add-ons. Within the past 3 weeks, that question appears to have been resoundingly and almost completely answered. In my opinion, there are now just 2 general aviation simulator platforms on the market, Prepared and XPlane 11. Pick one and go flying. As always, my name is Frugal. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you all very soon.